Moultrie. Actually, there had been two structures bearing the name Hotel Colquitt in Moultrie. Both were located on the same site, and the Colquitt Tower is a renaming of the second building. The first Hotel Colquitt was completed in 1902, the same year that the courthouse was completed and the year of our economic boom. It was a three-story structure with a corner tower and had the distinction of being Moultrie's largest and first brick hotel. At that time, the first floor featured a drugstore, restaurant, barbershop, and a sample room for traveling salesmen. Behind the hotel was a 75-car garage. In 1928, the Hotel Colquitt was torn down and replaced with a new four-story red brick building. Like its predecessor, it was known as the Hotel Colquitt. As before, a drugstore occupied the corner of the first floor. The hotel also had a coffee shop and a telegraph office on the first floor. In the 1950s, the Hotel Colquitt advertised that all 75 rooms had a bath and 50 had air conditioning, and proclaimed that it was the best hotel of its size in the South. The hotel's Plantation House restaurant was known far and wide for good food and warm hospitality, especially during the years that a Mr. Leo Guest proudly managed the hotel. As late as the early 1950s, most people stayed in hotels while traveling. There had been cabins and motor courts near Spence Field, an air pilot training base for servicemen and their families, but most businessmen and traveling salesmen did stay at the Hotel Colquitt. However, in 1954, things began to change when several new motels opened in Moultrie. One of these was the Town Terrace Motel, and it was one of the first. Still in operation today, the Town Terrace was the first motel in Moultrie with a swimming pool. With our climate, it became a popular family stop. In 1955, Brady's Motel opened, and others soon followed. By today's standards for lodging, these early motels would be considered very basic. But at the time, they were considered first-class accommodations for the traveling public. Motels quickly became the preferred choice for overnight lodging. If you were traveling with the family, it was easier and cheaper to stay in a motel than in a downtown hotel. And after a day on the road, who could resist the temptation of a motel's swimming pool? As a result, most traditional hotels across America went out of business. In the 1960s, Moultrie's Norman Hotel closed, but the Hotel Colquitt was able to hang on because it had long been a popular lodging space for tobacco buyers. For decades, Moultrie had local tobacco auctions each year, and agents sometimes came for months to buy tobacco from local growers. But by the 1970s, large tobacco companies began bypassing local tobacco auctions, instead buying directly from individual growers. The decline in Moultrie's tobacco market forced the Hotel Colquitt to close. This left motels as the only form of overnight lodging for the traveling public in Colquitt County. Businesses continued to use the first floor of the Hotel Colquitt building, facing along Main Street and Central Avenue, but most of the rest of the building sat sadly vacant. In the mid-1990s, Moultrie Southwest Georgia Bank bought the Hotel Colquitt building